Buried cities of the world, how Rome was really unearthed. In this video, I will show very rare photographs of excavated Rome that I managed to find in archival sources. So, let me tell you this. The 19th century was not a century of progress, as we have been taught to believe. It was a century of ruthless redistribution of the world, in the most literal sense. And this is not only about politics, colonies, and borders. It is about the redistribution of history itself. Recall the accidental mass fires in 19th century America that wiped entire cities down to their foundations. Recall the strange, largely staged revolution in Paris. Recall how the British Empire came to control half the globe, while in Russia, a new ruling elite of the Holstein-Gottorp dynasty established itself, a dynasty that is rarely spoken of today. Against this backdrop, one of the most mysterious events in European history takes place. In 1870, Rome was captured. Yes, you heard that correctly. The Papal States were effectively abolished. And almost immediately after that, the Vatican appears in its modern form. A new religious doctrine is shaped, and active pressure begins against old believers, traditionalists, and any alternative forms of faith. Just a few years later, in 1875, the first large-scale excavations of Rome begin. Excavations of a buried city. According to the official version, this was simply archaeology. In reality, it looks more like the exposure of traces of some colossal catastrophe that occurred long before the 19th century. Researchers of alternative history point out that the first catastrophe apparently took place sometime between the 16th and 18th centuries, and we have an extremely important piece of indirect evidence: the paintings and engravings of the ruinists, Hieronymus Koch, Giovanni Battista Piranesi, Hubert Robert, and others. In these images, we see not just picturesque ruins. We see people moving among the ruins using long wooden poles. Why? The answer is simple. They are walking through mud, through clay that has not yet dried. This means that the destruction and burial of the city happened shortly before these images were created, not in deep antiquity, as the official version claims. But let us return to the excavations. Alongside the excavations, another process begins. All discovered busts, statues, and images are given new names. They are attributed to fictional philosophers, non-existent rulers, and convenient characters of classical history. A mass reattribution of the past is taking place. Within just 5 years, a colossal portion of the city was unearthed. About 600,000 cubic meters of soil were removed, roughly 1 million tons. In modern terms, that would equal 350,000 to 500,000 truckloads. And most importantly, in a number of locations, to reach the streets of the so-called Roman period from the level of modern streets, excavators had to go 10 to 12 meters deep. Think about it. This is not a thin cultural layer. It is a multi-meter thickness of clay, mud, and debris, beneath which were found columns, palaces, temples, and statues. The city was not destroyed by time. It was buried. After some time, the excavations suddenly came to a halt. Why? There are no official explanations. Work resumed only in 1903, and then continued in fits and starts until the 1950s. And it is precisely during these periods that artifacts of the Etruscan civilization begin to be discovered. This leads to an extremely uncomfortable conclusion. Rome is not just an ancient Roman city, but a great center of the Etruscan civilization, whose role in history has been deliberately downplayed. And it did not fall at the hands of enemies, but as a result of a global catastrophe that affected the entire ancient world. But there is another secret, one that tourist guidebooks never mention. Beneath Rome lies another Rome, an entire underground city that has still not been fully excavated, The official version claims that ancient buildings supposedly gradually sank into the ground, while new ones were built directly on top of the old, that this is how the eternal city supposedly grew. But in reality, we see 10 to 15 meters of dense clay, a layer that sealed ancient structures all at once. If we accept that a global, planet-scale catastrophe occurred in the recent past, then it becomes obvious. What lies underground are not isolated foundations, but entire cities. And this did not happen only in Rome. The history of a past civilization was erased across the entire world, and in its place, we were given a new myth, a new chronology, and a new version of history. High-quality photographs of excavated Rome can be found on my Telegram channel. The link is below the video. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel.